where the stories collide. David Mathis brings truth as our guide. From every walk of life and point of view, every voice here has wisdom for you. Lessons for life echo loud and clear. Faith and love in every word we hear. Through the struggles, the triumphs, the fight, we find the light. In lessons for life, Santa speaks of joy in the giving hand. A polio survivor find the will to stand. Bold messengers don't shy from being called to share. Each person has a touching tale of care. Lessons for life echo loud and clear. Faith and love in every word we hear. Through the struggles, the triumphs, the fight, we find the light. In lessons for life.
That's me, Bob. That's me. That's who you just introduced, me. You know him? You love him? Do you feel that way too, Bob?
Absolutely. To know you is to love you.
Thank you very much. That's very good. Let's introduce our guest first. This is Leesa Chambers. Hi, Leesa.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I just got your story a few minutes ago. I just talked to you on the phone, and you got a very interesting story. Is this
Pastor
David?
This is my husband, David. Yes.
Hi, David. How you doing?
Oh, all right. Just got off work. Sorry about my parents.
You know you're on national television now, right?
Let me go change my shirt.
You're fine. You're fine.
It's good seeing you. Let's start talking, Leesa, just to you, and David can chop in. I'll ask you too, David. You've had quite a life since probably 16 years old, right?
Yes.
That's when 16 is when you were first introduced to drugs. Is that right?
Yes.
It was marijuana.
Marijuana. Yep.
Okay, give me a rundown of how it got worse, can you?
Yeah. So, I thought about this too when I was talking to you, Pastor Dave, was that, in school, we always had the DARE program, and they would say, marijuana is the gateway drug. And I used to make fun of the DARE officer in school a lot. And he's like, oh, it's just marijuana, whatever. But he was right, because it opens another doorway to other things for your spirit man to say, oh, okay, it's just marijuana. I can go on to something else. So, for me, opening up that doorway, just smoking marijuana at 16 years old, that became that's how I relieve stress, or
Gateway drug.
A gateway drug. Yeah. And
where'd you go from there?
So from there, it led me to crack cocaine. I smoked crack cocaine. Yeah.
You were a teenager then?
No. So I started smoking crack cocaine at like 18 years old, I think. I want to say 18. I was still really young. A teenager. Yeah. Yeah.
Were you
And
in
then,
school?
no, it was after school. It was after I had graduated. I did graduate high school, but it was after graduation.
Was it your friends that led you to this?
I'm sorry?
Were there friends that had you try this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was friends whenever I started smoking marijuana for the first time. It was just the group of people that I surrounded myself with, the ones that accepted me, what I thought was accepting, it was the same people that.
hang on.
and
I
crack
want to
cocaine.
I want to get into the change later, but I want to go through the fact that you started opening up to a lot of drugs, didn't you?
I did. I did. Crack cocaine. Crack cocaine is expensive. They call that the rich man's drug because you get high for a second and then it doesn't last long, so you have to keep, putting more and more money out. So
Can I
because
ask David a question?
yeah,
When did you marry her? Do you know?
Yeah, 2007.
Okay, was she on drugs at that time?
I did not know she was. Yes.
She hit it real well?
Yeah, we both kind of did.
Oh, you were on drugs too?
Oh, yes, sir. From where I come from, I mean, it's just as common as coffee. In fact, the nickname for meth was cup of coffee.
A cup of coffee, but it was more than that, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the cops can't prove nothing with a cup of coffee.
So you both were addicts when you got married?
Yeah.
we didn't know that. So like mine, I feel like for him, he was a construction worker, and so his was a functional worker. So it wasn't for me, I went hard on the yard. I went hard on the yard until I found out that I was pregnant. And well, actually, before I found out I was pregnant, because we actually got together. When we got together, there was a year where I didn't do anything because I had, fell in love with this guy. He was awesome. He was cool, and so I just stopped doing drugs because it was that puppy love, So I stopped doing drugs, and then a year later, I found out I was pregnant. So I was about 19, 20.
Okay, 19 or 20. When did
Yeah.
you find out? When did you go back to drugs again?
So I didn't go back to drugs until after I had I want to say my son, after I had my son, because I had my kids back to back. So I would say after a year or two after, 2 years after I had my son, because I had my daughter first and then I had my son.
No, I knew it.
Yeah, 2 years.
You taking drugs in, or you stopped too?
I'm sorry.
Did had you stopped taking drugs, or were you still taking them?
I didn't know many people up in the city we live in now, and I'd moved up here, so it wasn't readily available, and I was just a social user, or just wake up in the morning. So I quit it. It wasn't at that point in time. It didn't have the hold on me like it later on did.
Yeah.
Okay, did you know Christ at that time, both of you?
I knew
Of him.
I thought I knew him.
Right. We both were raised up. Here's the thing, and I remember telling you this, Pastor Dave, was that we both had history from our childhood, parents that gave us Jesus, but we didn't have a relationship. So that would be classified as religion. You know what I mean? Like we had the foundation of Christ, but that was not really, it wasn't an inward, it wasn't a heart thing at all. It was just knowledge. It was just head knowledge, no heart thing. So when we first got married, we both had some trauma and broken things that had happened in our childhoods and stuff like that. And so it was just like it was a snowball effect waiting to happen. So like I said before, drugs was that was my outlet. That was I felt accepted when I went to drugs. It was easier to do that than porn.
So you
So
knew of Jesus Christ.
we
You
knew,
didn't know Jesus Christ.
we knew of him, but we did not know him.
Okay, now there must have come a point where now hold on, see if I got this straight. There's a divorce in here somewhere, isn't there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell me
So
this story next, because at first I want to find out
yeah,
you guys
yeah,
got back together again. That sounds
yeah.
interesting.
So now again, my years are just all mushed together. It's just like a boom, boom, boom. So the reason why we got a divorce in the first place is because I went through a time of postpartum depression, which now I know what that it was, which led me back into drugs. So back into crack cocaine with the same friends, same everything, which then led me and my husband with all the things that were going on there to cause a divorce. And that was in 2010. Is that right? Or 2000?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's in between. Yeah, the years are just like blah.
That happens when you're on drugs.
It was 10 or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
Sometime in year 2010, you got
Yeah.
divorced. Is that right?
Yeah, we got a divorce.
Well, he didn't agree with your living then. Is that what it was?
Do what?
He
Say it
didn't
again?
agree with the way you're living. Is that why you got divorced?
No, I mean, we got divorced because I was very physically abusive to my husband. I was getting high. I mean, I was treacherous. That's why we got divorced, because I was not a good person at all. And so I just led a life of addiction, and addiction
When
causes.
you got divorced, I understand you became homeless. Is that, if I got that correct?
Yeah, well, that was later on. So we got divorced. I had full custody of my kids. I was not addicted at that point in time. There was a lot of transitions on and off of addiction. Then I had full custody of our kids. I was a single mom, and one thing led to another. I got back on drugs, lost my children, lost custody of our children. We both lost custody of our children. We weren't together, but we both lost custody of our children.
Now, you were on drugs this time too, David?
No, not that time.
No.
During the divorce, there was juvenile court proceedings. I was fighting for the children. There was, I think, 2 or 3 times a week, I had to go take tests. And I ended up losing them too, because I have an extensive prison history. I have mental health issues, or they claim I have mental health issues. So they cited it as unstable household.
Yeah.
It was after we lost the kids that I really spiraled off into heavy drug use and intravenous use. Started using a needle, and I mean,
we both really
Heroin?
no, sir, methamphetamines.
Our drug of choice was methamphetamines, but we, like I told you before as well, at that time after I lost the kids, I would take anything. It didn't matter what it was, and then I started using the needle.
Now, this is the time you were homeless? About this time?
Yeah. So after I lost my children, I did become homeless. I didn't have a home living. I was homeless for probably about 4 or 5 years.
Did you live on the street or where?
I lived wherever I could lay my head down. But I mean, I didn't sleep a lot because I was on drugs. There was not a lot of sleeping involved. But when I did want to rest after either a week binge or a couple week binge, I'd sleep in the street. I mean, on the street. I'd go.
Okay. We stall a little bit here. Can you talk?
Huh?
Go ahead. Can you talk?
Did we talk?
Did we talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, we dated off and on. We weren't like, we dated, but we didn't get back married. Casually. Yeah, we would hook up casually. And like I said before, sometimes I blame myself a lot for feeling like I got him started back out on.
We got you up to being back together again, dating on and off. I'm interested to how you guys got back together again. What happened?
I got released.
Well, David he had just came out. He was just coming out of DLC, and
again,
his dad actually is the one that kind of hooked us back up, because
DLC?
DLC.
What is DLC?
That's Department of Corrections.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And so his dad is actually, I feel like he's responsible that led us back together, because I was doing really well. I was actually involved in a ministry, and the ministry was called House of Hope. And what it was for women that were coming out of all types of life controlling issues, whether it was addiction, homelessness, incarceration. And I actually had did a year program there for myself, and that actually is what saved a part of my life because I was really drowning.
I'm
But
talking about
while
how you got back together with David from this
yeah,
church.
so during that time, his dad actually had called me, and or I had seen his dad, and he was like, "Hey, there's somebody thinking about you, was asking about you," and I was like, "Who?" And he was like, "David," and I was like, "Really?" Because I knew at that point in time, I felt really, really bad because I know how our first time were that we were married, how that ended. And so I'm like, why would David be thinking about me? Because we hadn't, we were off and on, but then we hadn't talked for like a couple years, you know. So that was back in 2017 or 18, 2018. And so we kind of slowly got back together, and kind of, I guess, not really dated, but
Now hold it. I got to get this, but this is important. Now you knew of Christ, but you didn't know Christ. What brought you fully around was knowing who Christ was. Can you tell us that story?
Well, hold on. We got back up a little bit.
yeah.
At that point in time, she now knew about Christ. She knew Christ. Okay, not just about Christ. Me, I was still, I had heard stories, songs, grew up in a Pentecostal household, um, but I still had never touched a relationship. And there's several periods throughout this time that I thought, okay, now I'm knowing God, and now I'm knowing God, and still yet looking back is like, no, now you're understanding messages and how they apply to life. At this time, I still did not know, and what actually happened was we got back into addiction.
Yeah.
And one day, I had, not to be too graphic, I had, yes,
So so
you know what I'm
tie
talking
off.
about, right?
Yeah. So we got back together. When we got back together in 2018, like I said, we were dating off and on. But what happened was we got back into our addiction together. That was back in 2018. We did that for what, about a year together. And we, in the process of all that, we got married during the process of being in addiction, and we got remarried. So we got remarried October of 2019. So to answer your question about how we got remarried 2019 of October, but all the while we're still doing our addiction. The whole time we were still doing our addiction. And it wasn't until December of that year of 2019. And like he said, being in the ministry, I got to still, I wouldn't necessarily saying I didn't really accept Jesus as my personal Lord and Savior. I still was on the fence of that. Like the reality of it all did not really hit me until December of 2019. And that is, we were sitting on the bed. Like I said, we were sitting on the bed at our old house that's in the country. And we were sitting on the bed, and God flashed before me my life with my husband and everything that I lost. And he said something that kind of freaked me out. And we were in the middle of getting ready to do our drugs. And I won't be explicit with it, but we were both, we were both intravenous users. We were getting ready to do that. And when God showed me that and he said what he said, I got scared, and I said, I'm done. And as soon as I said I'm done, I felt something, and I did feel something release, because it wasn't I'm done this time like I had said I was done several years ago, or like I had said I was done a year or a month ago. This time I felt I was done. And
Yeah, let's stop there. You have been straight for 5 to 7 years now. Is that correct?
for 7 years, we will celebrate 7 years this December. Yes, sir. This year
So
we will celebrate 7 years sober.
this shows that you meant it. This is not just one of those times where you throw it away and then go back.
Correct. I mean, I couldn't get sober for I might have got sober for like a year or two at a time, but not like this. But this wasn't sobriety. This wasn't just about sobriety. When I said I was done, David said, "Well, babe, if you're done, I'll be done with you." And I said, "David, you can't do that. You have to do it for yourself." And he said, "You know, babe, for right now, I might have to fake it till I make it." And when we came back up to my hometown, when we came back up to my hometown, like I said, I joined back onto my worship team at the church that I had actually came out of the ministry from.
Okay, hold that in a second. I'm going
Okay.
to take, we've got you now saved, and we've got you to the point that you're redeemed. Now you are just a citizen. You found you had a talent called singing. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Oh, I've been singing my whole life. I've been singing my whole life. I sang for the Lord. I could sing my whole life. I love singing. Yes.
But you're not professional. You do
No,
it for church. Is that right?
I do it for church. I do it for karaoke. I just love to sing. I sing all day around my house. I just love to sing.
And you've also got a TikTok program, don't you?
I do. I do a Bible study on TikTok, and I also do a karaoke. Yep.
How do people find you on TikTok?
So you can go to Lisa Leesa on my TikTok. It says Lisa Leesa hashtag raw fam.
Oh,
And it's LEESA, and then do the hashtag and raw fam. And you can join me Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I do Friday evenings from 8 p.m. till when we get done doing karaoke. But Mondays and Wednesdays, I start at 9. It's 9 a.m. Central Standard Time till 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I do a Bible study. We start with a prayer, and then we do a Bible study. And then we sing and encourage each other.
Okay,
I
now,
met,
hold it for a second.
yeah,
This is an example, folks, of what Lessons for Life is all about. That you accept Jesus Christ and then you serve him.
yes,
This couple here has had a heck of a life until they accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior. Now their life is a heck of a life on his side, not on the dark side. And you're satisfied with it, aren't you? Much better. It's much better life, isn't it?
yes, sir.
Okay, you got
Yes,
two
sir.
kids.
We do.
Tell us a little bit about these two kids. Tell us how old they are and where they're at.
So my daughter, she's 19. My son, he'll be 18 this summer. And we have had a relationship with both of them. God is still in the business of restoring. So I think that he will restore the years that the locust has stolen. There's still some, hurt behind those things that have happened in the past. But I do believe, and I stand on God's word, that he will restore the years that the locust has stolen.
Folks, do you hear Lisa and David talking
Yeah.
about their new life and how they've lived it? If
Yeah.
you're living a bad life right now and you're wondering where you're going to go, Lisa and David are perfect examples for you.
I'm kind of, but I'm not good at talking, but I can talk about Jesus and what he did for me. When I look back at the things that have happened, I was telling you earlier, I'll be 40 this year, and I've lived a lot of crazy stuff. When I tell you crazy from, crazy from, and that's not even going back. 16 is when I did addiction. I'm not even going back to what, 11, 12 years old, and all that kind of stuff. But when I think to myself at that lifespan, and even though it's only been 7 years, it's been 7 years of actually living. Because when you live with Christ, it's so different. It's so different. I sometimes get mad at myself because I don't understand how I could be so stupid and live that many years without Jesus. Knowing about him is so different than knowing him. Like I told you before, I was raised up in church. I knew the stories, I knew verses, all that kind of stuff, but I did not know who Jesus Christ was. But I tell you, I don't know the exact date, but December 2020 and 2019, excuse me, 2019.
That was 15th.
Was it the 15th?
15th or the 19th?
15th or the 19th of December of 2019. On that bed, I know that something changed inside me. And when we left from that place and came to our hometown and went back to church, that's right, before Christmas. That's right. You're right, baby. See, that's why I needed you here. It was 2 weeks before Christmas. So that's how I know, that's how we know that. But when we left from there and we moved back to my hometown, we went to church and I walked, and my pastor put me, my pastor that I had, he was awesome. He put me back on the stage and he was like, Sister Leesa, I want you to worship. I want you to be on the worship team. I watched my husband get wrecked by God, and I watched myself ask God to be back in my life. And I know I don't have the dates right, but I know at that time on that bed when we were getting ready to pull up our shot and getting ready to stick our arm again for probably the 10th or 11th time that night, I know that he saved me right then and there. And I never went back. And I never want to go back. I never want to go back, and I will never go back.
That's great testimony. We'll use this part of your testimony
Mm-hmm.
at a later date. We'll play this. We'll play this somewhere for people to hear. You gave an excellent testimony. You gave an excellent rendition of your life. I think people can see the changes in you. I can see them, and I'm sure you can too.
Oh, yeah. All because of God's glory and grace. I owe him. I mean, there ain't nothing I can give to him, but it's all because of him. It's all for his glory. And for him to take somebody like me and my husband and the things that we have done and set us on a solid foundation. That tells you right there. For people that don't believe there's a God, I can't understand that, but I do know this. If he can take anything from my life and God can use somebody like me, he can definitely use somebody like them.
Lessons for life echo loud and clear. Faith and love in every word we hear. Through the struggles, the triumphs, the fight, we find the light. In lessons for life, Santa speaks of joy in the giving hand. A polio survivor find the will to stand. Bold messengers don't shy from being called to share. Each person has